failing our athletes, annoying the refs, and living proof that there's no such thing as a stupid question. Unless we're the ones asking it. From game highlights, to hot takes, to totally unqualified opinions. We're bringing the BS Booster Style!
Welcome to episode number 140 of the BEBC
BS
Podcast. Sorry guys, I had to look because the numbers are getting high. I couldn't remember. 140.
140.
Thank you, Nolan. We appreciate that. This morning, we are excited. I really am. This has been something that's been in the works for several months. And
you could say we're on fire.
We're on fire, just like our intro.
My God.
Because we have the chief of fire? I don't know how they word your
fire
title.
chief.
Yeah, it's called the fire chief.
Fire chief from the city of Allen, Chief Jonathan Boyd, with us this morning.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Well, we're glad you're here because we got lots of questions and we will get to them. We're running a little short on early time here. We got to get with Coach Wigg as he's traveling, but we'll get back into you, your affiliation with Allen, your affiliation with the school, everything you got going on, and then we're going to talk fire because I think that's a neat topic. And I actually went back and did a little.
Should have brought my match.
You probably shouldn't say that with the fire chief.
Hey, we got the guns and hoses coming up too.
Yeah. We start seeing the fire department rolling around our tailgate. We know we said something wrong. So, we'll go from there. But I did a little biographical research on the man here. It's very interesting what we're about to learn.
Now he's starting to sweat.
Okay. Yeah, what y'all look up?
Well, again, you can tell us whether it's true or not.
Okay.
Because, not everything on the internet is true.
This is
always
all
true.
this is all AI anyway.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
By the time this podcast is up, we gave Cody the responsibility yesterday to do a whole podcast of ours in AI and see what it would look like. So.
And if you can't do that, let's just at least make these little guys dance.
Animate the boys.
Animate the little fellas. Our buddy Thad, who's one of our members who's living in Fort Worth now, carved all these.
Oh, wow.
And each one of us, and I don't know who's who. This is Cody, though, because he's got the short legs.
I think that's me.
Yeah, that is you. So anyhow, glad you're here.
Yes.
Appreciate you sitting in.
Happy to be here.
Jump in at any moment, and we'll go from there. Let's get some stuff out of the way. The 140th game in the history of Allen Eagle football, we're going back to 1974. Again, if you remember last week, they lost to Frisco. Anybody remember the score?
No.
You weren't
It was
here.
2 weeks ago.
Not a barn
Oh, it
burner.
was 2
that's
weeks
right.
ago.
That's why I don't remember.
It was 2-0. They lost by a safety in 1974 to Frisco. The next game, they drove to. I say drove to. It may have been a home game. They played Whitewright. Whitewright. Is that on 82?
No, it's just north of Desert, Texas. I actually might want to.
Well, that helped.
Yeah.
Founded by Jeffrey T. White.
Yeah. Well, no, so it's
Whitewright.
yeah, so it's far north and almost I guess it is in Grayson County. So East Grayson County. So if you were on 82 from Sherman towards Bonham, Whitewright would be just south of Bells.
Yeah.
So I know I'm giving you all
these
this.
are.
No, it's good.
The reason I know this is because one of my first, before I came to Allen, I worked as a paramedic for Whitewright EMS.
Look at here.
Yeah.
How perfect is that he came on the day at Whitewright?
So it's next to Orangeville.
Do you remember that? Do you remember that game?
No, that's a little before my time.
So we got Bells in Orangeville.
Yeah, in Desert.
In
Desert.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, I know exactly where it is.
Yeah.
Just north of Trenton.
There we go.
Oh, I know Trenton.
Yeah.
I took one of my ducks there to get stuffed one year.
So anyhow, they play Whitewright. Here or there, who knows? And they lose 18-0 to drop 0-2 on the season. So bummer for them.
That's 6 field goals?
Or 3 touchdowns with no extra points.
I guess.
One of the two.
Something weird's happening in that game.
No special teams.
I think it's more than field goals.
You flip over to the 140th win. in the history of Allen Eagle football. If you remember, you probably don't, 2 weeks ago, they beat Hillcrest when we talked about it, 21-18 to go to 4-0 on the season in 1986. Next week, they played McKinney and lost 34-14.
Ouch.
The week after that, they played Fort Worth Boswell. A district game, no less.
Wow.
Where's Boswell?
Fort Worth.
I know
Mexico.
that. Somewhere over in Fort Worth. They lose to Boswell 54-21. And so the following week, they play Gainesville. Now, we all know where Gainesville is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And again, another district game. So just think about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a long way
Like
to
we
go.
talked about going to 7A.
Yep. And they actually pull out a victory. They shut Gainesville out 17-0. They go to 5-2 on the year, 1-2 in district play. So congratulations to the Eagles of 1986. Wow. I'm glad we knew where Gainesville was, or you were going to give us another geography. Holy moly. So in Whitewright EMS.
That's right, yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Well, we've got two games to talk about, and we'll get to them. We got Coach Wig here in 3 minutes, so we'll get to them in a minute. But you have a 38-0 shortened game victory over Cedar Hill, and then last night a 70-14 shellacking blowout.
Should have been a shortened game.
It was actually
I know.
of Prosper Rock Hill.
And vote for that running clock. Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny. I told Wig when he walked by the tailgate yesterday, I said, I want 35 points by halftime. And we were talking to him after the game, and I said, well, you got us your 35 at halftime. He goes, well, what was it at halftime? He didn't even know. I said, it was 49, Coach. He says, oh, he didn't even know what the score was. So I'm sure he knew they were winning. He probably did not know the score, but I have a feeling for the next couple of weeks, at least the next 2 weeks, it's going to be a whole lot of the same.
Yeah.
If any of you, we'll get into the district, but if any of you pulled up the Plano McKinney game on CW33 Thursday night, somebody said it was like watching paint dry, and I said it was worse than that. That's two teams they're both starting sophomore quarterbacks who, I'm just going to say it, aren't very good.
Yeah.
And it was a very difficult watch for what we watch it, 15, 20 minutes,
Yeah.
whatever it was, and it was just like, ooh. So those are the next two teams up for Allen. So I would expect much of what you've seen the last 3 weeks to happen again. So fun times coming up for the Eagles. So we'll give Wig a call. We'll see what his thoughts are. Let's see what kind of coach speak we can get out of him today. See if he answers. He's driving.
Last time his wife
You
was
may have
driving.
been pulled over.
She went up last night.
Hello.
Hey, Coach.
Morning.
Hello. Good morning. How are y'all?
Good. So where are you at right now?
Is it near Whitewright?
I'm not sure. I am. I can't remember this little town. What is it here? I will be able to tell you here in a bit.
That's decided to go.
I can't remember the little town that I'm in. It's about 2 hours from Lubbock.
2 hours from Lubbock.
Oh, wow.
Well,
Yeah.
we are 3 weeks into the season. You're 3-0 with 3 blowout victories. So what have you learned about your team?
Well, and coming into the season, we knew we had, everyone back defensively. We're going to be a senior defensive ball club, coming off a good year. So, I was very, very optimistic that we were going to be playing great defense. I had tons of questions about the quarterback position with, of course, graduating a quarterback and not knowing, what the others, were going to be about. Not knowing the offensive identity, are we going to be able to move the ball? If so, how are we going to be able to move it? So, with that being said, I think it was through 3 weeks, I feel like everything that I was hoping about the defense, we're doing that right now. Offensively, I'm pleased with, very pleased with how we're performing. But I also kind of going into the season, from the last couple of years, we felt like we were going to have to be able to be able to attack more through the air, because we just felt like there were some games last year that we didn't run the ball as effectively as we had in others. So knew that we were going to have that other dimension to be able to have a chance to play with some of the better teams in the state. And I think at this point, what I've learned is that we're doing some good things through the air. Both in just getting the ball out and blocking up on the perimeter, and then also in throwing the ball in the intermediate to down the field range has shown that we have the ability to do that. So pleased with that. In the kicking game, last night we the first couple of games we gave up some big returns. We working on some things there, and we were in a game last night where I felt like after a couple of kicks that it was going to be a bunch of touchbacks. So I wanted to get in a scenario to where we were going to have to tackle in the open field. So we were just trying to kick a ball that they would return. So we were doing some squibs and different kicks just to make us see if we were improving on kickoff, and I think that we did there. So I feel like that what I've learned is that special teams are coming along. I think that we're going to be really good there. We've certainly returned some kicks for touchdowns. We've blocked kicks, which both have been a heavy emphasis. And again, the offense, defensive sides of the ball, pleased with who we are. So I think what I've learned is I like where we are as a football team. The questions are, I don't think we've played a team of the caliber that we will see in district, and then certainly, fortunate enough to make the playoffs there. So how does that continue to progress, and have you ready at that moment? That's the part that I don't know, but what I learned is that I really like where we are. I like how our team cares about each other, plays for each other, celebrates each other's success, and then the level at which they're playing at.
Well, and you mentioned it a little bit, but I want to go a little deeper. So you flip the coin over and you say, okay, if in practice this week, if there's something to you that says, okay, we've got to fix this or we need to improve, what would that focus be?
Well, in all three phases, defensively, just again, when we've tended to have something, the few times that we've given up stuff, it kind of points to the quarterback run game, so just continuing to prevent quarterback against whether, that team kind of their MO was, he drops back and then, have a little crease and try to get yards, and they were able to do that a time or two, and we knew that. I mean, we felt like that was probably the way that they would gain yards against us if they did, so when we know that, just being a little bit more sound there, and then, teams before, running their little run-read game. So just kind of cleaning that up as we go forward, making sure we can contain when people are able to play 11-on-11 football, which is a lot different than when they have a quarterback that just hands off or sits back there and you're able to play 10-on-11, right? So that part on the defensive side. The offensive side, just gotta continue to improve our run game. We're getting better. We're doing some things, but it's just, just continue to strain longer, both up front in our blocking and then our the guys that don't have the ball, they're doing a good job of just fighting longer and straining longer play to play. So on the offensive side, that's the primary emphasis. And then special teams, again, just kickoff team coverage, just continue to fly down the field, get off blocks and make plays, just having just that passion to be a difference maker on kickoff team. And then, kind of a good thing, but kick return, we haven't got a lot of reps, so we know that has to be a weapon for us. So we just have to improve, making sure that all 11 are very skilled and ready for the onsides, and then when they kick the ball wherever it is, have the ability to make them pay by both getting to the ball field in it cleanly and then just working your tails off to strain and sustain those blocks, which I thought we did a good job of. But that's we got to improve on it. And then we just got to continue to clean up. Our field goal extra point. I think we ultimately blocked our own kick last night. Whether not 100% sure if we didn't just hit it fat or if if the holder kind of got fingers in the way and blocked it. But we just know again that we got out of the third round last year because of a play. We beat Trinity 22-21, and we know that to be able to play with a Prosper or play with district teams that we'll face or a Louisville or a Coppell or a Trinity or a Legacy or a North Crowley, it's going to come down to 1 or 2 points, and the luxury of saying, we messed that up, let's get it the next time, because the next time you're watching somebody else play. So just those things and the special teams.
Yeah, it's hard to get a lot of work on the kick return when you're outscoring your opponents 121-7 in the first half. So you're not getting.
Well, and yes, that's true. And the unit, again, that is, we've spent as much time on it as any other unit really.
So last night, Jet has.
I feel like it's going to be a wet.
Uh-oh, he's getting in dead zone here. Coach, can you hear us? Uh-oh.
I think we're losing him.
Okay. Can y'all hear me?
We can hear you now.
There you go.
Okay.
So Jet has 3 touches last night, and all 3, his first 3 touches, all 3 goes for touchdowns. So, again, what a playmaker this guy is.
Yes. And of course, obviously, you knew that, and again, I'll point back to the North Crowley game, 2 years ago, and Midland Legacy, 2 years ago as well, to where coming into his own as a playmaker, which he had been since birth. You're just so happy for all the work that he's put in to see that play take off again.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's a little tough, but we'll work through it. So if we need to. So you have Plano next week. I know you haven't looked at film yet because that's what you always tell us.
Yeah.
But first away game for the year. I mean,
is it though?
Yeah, it's our second field.
Yeah.
We've claimed their stadium.
Yeah.
Plano City champs.
Forever. But the routine changes a little bit for the boys, but again, like you say, you've got a senior heavy team who's done it, and the expectations are that we'll see pretty much what we've seen the first 3 weeks, I would imagine.
Well, I mean, it's certainly the hope, and we are a senior team, but there are, certainly on the offensive side of the ball right now, there's a whole lot that aren't seniors that are, that haven't gone through a varsity road game ever before, So I would. You certainly. I mean, it's going to be a disappointing performance by me in this week if we don't travel well, because we feel like we're going to be prepared to do that. We don't put a lot of stock in, is it a home game or away game, other than you're in front of that home crowd in the greatest stadium in the world. But the travel, whether it's 12 minutes or 4 hours, shouldn't affect our football team if we've done our job as coaches. So we expect to clean up the things that weren't as where we need them to be, and play better, because we know we're going to have to, because no disrespect to anyone that we play, but Plano's going to be a tougher game than what we just had. I mean, they're just they're playing good ball. They're feeling really good about themselves. They're 1-0 in district. Going to be a good game.
Well, we look forward to travel next week, and I know you're busy, so we'll go ahead and get you to picks and get you out of here. Just FYI, you're 5-5 on the year, so you're breaking even.
You can do better. We have faith.
The good news is you're only 1 game behind the leader, who's at 6-4. So nobody's burning it up so far. So.
Well, that means you're doing good on coming up with games then.
Yeah. Well, got a good slate this week. So, first one is Georgia at Tennessee.
Yep. Well, my daughter is at Tennessee, and she is so fired up about the game today. So I am with her and going with Tennessee.
We're watching game day right now behind here, and they're at Tennessee. So is she in the crowd there probably?
I have no idea.
Well, there she is.
If we see her, we'll let you know.
Yeah, please.
And just to let you know, the Tennessee fans at game day just did one of the major league trolls over. They had the Alabama coach on, and they were interviewing him.
They had DeBoer on, and the Tennessee fans started doing the war chant. It was so good.
Yeah, that is great.
Game 2. This ought to be a good game. Be interesting to see. A&M at Notre Dame.
Yeah, really good one too, huh? I bet, I don't think it was a tough choice for College Game Day, but man, you couldn't have gone wrong with either one of those two. I think I'll take Notre Dame.
All right. Clemson at Georgia Tech.
I'll take Clemson, but I do think that, it would not shock me at all. I hope that Georgia Tech wins. Love their quarterback and love their quarterback's daddy even more. So,
Yeah.
But I'm afraid Clemson just has too much.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for your support. Thad appreciates that.
Yeah. All right. The what Nick Saban called earlier the most underappreciated 2-0 team in the country, University of South Florida, goes to Miami.
Yeah, I'll take Miami.
All right.
So much for respect.
And I'm going to let you go ahead and break Nolan's heart here. Arkansas is at Ole Miss.
Don't do it.
I'm listening to you guys. I'm thinking I might have heard you say Arkansas
Yeah, at Ole Miss.
at Ole Miss. Man, that's for me the toughest one of them all. Arkansas. I'm going Ole Miss.
Good call, Coach.
Good call.
I
Well,
think it's going to be
Ruin
closer
the
than you
day.
think. Allen Ty's at quarterback.
yeah.
It's going to be a good one.
At quarterback and at wide receiver. Raylan Sharp's playing wide receiver.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's fun to see those guys do well. Well, Coach, we appreciate your time. Drive safe. Enjoy the game.
I will.
And
Thank you.
we'll pick up with you next Friday.
Okay, appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
You too, Coach.
All right, goodbye.
Bye.
I thought he was that close.
He said it was the
He
toughest
thought
one
about
of the week. So, sorry for the communication issues there, folks. Like I said, he's out driving in West Texas, so
He's near White Right.
Yeah, I'm surprised it lasted that long. There's got to be a few dead spots between here and Lubbock.
Yeah, the cell companies have been working on their coverage. Yeah.
Well, let's jump back 2 weeks. We did not do a podcast last week, and we had a game against Cedar Hill.
Is that? Can you really call it a game?
Well, half a game. How about that? Because you had half a game. Weather delay, which we seem to have at least one every year,
Yeah.
and those are just the hardest things to sit through.
Yeah. Not bad. About an hour before we got
2 hours.
2 hours.
Was it really?
It was
2
9
hours.
o'clock
Oh,
when that
my
game
God.
started. So what did you do during the? Did you
I
go
was
home?
no, I was actually in the press box.
Oh.
Well, so
Roughing it.
yeah.
Cookies and
Well, I started on the field
Yep.
because it's first responder night.
Right.
right.
Coach is so great about that every year, honoring the first responders. So we marched out, and we're lined up perfectly when they called it in front of the Lightning. And from there, fortunately we were invited to the press box that night, so got to sit up there and eat food and cookies and wait for it to roll through. So
There you go.
yeah, I can't complain about that.
No, that was. It's just so tough because it's like we didn't get that much rain. At least the
Yeah.
first game.
Right.
That lightning was quite the show. The lightning show, and it just took forever. And you're just bored to tears, and you're like, what are we going to do? And
Sitting on concrete.
yeah, exactly. Can't sit in the stands. It's like, come on. And I understand it's a safety issue, but we actually had the police come move us because we weren't moving. So we were just sitting. Cody was going to sit. I was like, get up. I was like, hauled to jail over that. Game finally starts around 9 o'clock, and we're going to talk about it here. and I started to bring it up with Coach, and I did. But before the game started, Cedar Hill wanted to come do their little dance
on the Eagle Head
on
out
the
in
Eagle
midfield,
Head. And of course the Talonets were lined up center of the field on both sides, but their coaches, and I told James to get his camera because I saw all this happening.
Antagonized them.
Their coaches come out and one gets on one side, Talonets, one gets on the other, and they were saying they can come right through here. And I was like, they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this. You probably
No, I saw it. Yeah.
And I was just like, they are not going to do this. And Wig came out a little early.
Yeah.
And so he started going to the center of the field, and they tried.
Yeah.
And the refs caught him and said,
nope.
Get up. But I was like,
You would think, with the way how bad they play, they might want to think about changing that up a little bit and stay on their side of the field during the warm-ups.
It was, and we talked about it after the game or during what was going on. It's like the adults in that room allow that to happen and encourage that to happen. And it's like, in this day and age, what are you teaching those boys?
You got to be doing better. Come on.
Well, I think we saw a lot of evidence throughout that they neither know the rules nor care about them. So
Yeah, that's pretty true. But it's just like, guys, and Cody did a great, what is it, song, whatever it is, this
rap.
week. Yeah, about the game. And for those of you that want to, let me know, and I'll let you listen to it here in a little bit. But it's about the game and just, you haven't beaten Allen since 1977. Yeah, so they're like, it's Allen's 12-1.
Yep.
Against Cedar Hill all the time, and you're going to come in and start that. It's like, guys, how about win a game or two before you come try to dance on our logo?
This is not a Joey McGuire-led Cedar Hill.
No. So it's been, almost 50
Joey McGuire is the one that started that stuff.
Yeah. Well, Cedar Hill ends up with 2 total yards in the half. 2. 4 first downs, 2 total yards, an ejected punter for throwing the ball at the ref.
Yeah, I think but in the first quarter they're negative 23 yards and only had a first down due to penalty.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think the thing that I thought would be great about Allen this year, which has come to fruition, is the defense, right? With so many people returning. I know y'all probably talked about this on many previous podcasts, but
it's worth talking about.
I think that's the clearest example. Is there was nothing that could be done in that first quarter except for a penalty. And I think if they make it deep in the playoffs, it's going to be the defense that really keeps them in these games.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think Wig mentioned it too, and we've talked about it a little bit. It's this offense, because if you think about when the year ended last year, you had your starting quarterback was graduating. You had your third string quarterback was graduating. You had a returning junior, and none of those 3 are with the program anymore. And so you've got a lot of unknowns. You graduated 3 starters on the offensive line. Now you got a lot of skill people coming back, but it all starts up front because nothing works if your up front isn't working. And now you've got some
circumstances
that happen that you lost 2 of those senior starters on your offensive line, and they've been replaced. And so the first 2 games where you had everybody, where things were growing, and all of a sudden, actually you didn't have the first 2. You had the first game.
Yeah.
And now you've got 2 more replacements in that offensive line that are having to
they've
go through that.
They've got to come together.
Yeah.
And maybe it's good that we don't have the competition we're going to have, with the Prospers, et cetera, to get them a little bit better tested. Well, and same thing for Ty Snell.
Yeah.
At QB, and number 15, our freshman. He's getting a lot of good experience and a lot of other backup kids.
Yeah,
too,
definitely. Jaden Davis, number 10. And,
exactly.
Josiah Johnson, he's a sophomore this year. But, on offense, the depth, I think, is really, I think the coach referenced having questions at quarterback and questions at offense, but now I think he has the opposite problem. He has too many answers. and
very true.
And so, what do you do from here with that much depth and young players?
How do you take full advantage of it?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you can, he had a quarterback playing quarterback last night at the end. Because,
exactly.
It's just ran out.
Who had the greatest completion of all of them? He was 3 for 3, 100% completion. Way to go, Kai.
So I think there's a lot of answers. Sorry,
No.
just jumping in here.
No,
But I think that kind of creates its own problem, because at some point you're going to have to solidify that into what are we on offense, and some really disciplined plays and looks that you can be reliable, because the thing they haven't had is a lot of difficulty. And so what are you going to put up there against something that's very challenging? So I think that's a real challenge for him, is to have all these answers, and then how do we kind of mold that into what we are, and you only have a few games to do that and still not facing real challenges. So, but that's why it gets the big bucks.
It's a nice problem to have.
Yeah.
But that makes a lot of sense, because last night, if you think about it, their first series was a 2-play drive, and Jet goes 70 yards and then he returns the next 2 punts for touchdowns, and you're not getting your offense out there. And we were talking, our offensive numbers are going to be horrible tonight because their offense isn't going to be on the field. And he doesn't get the chance to do everything that you just talked about.
Right, yeah. I mean, last night there's 15 different people that caught balls.
Exactly.
And, I mean, it may have been more than that, but that's I think kind of the challenge is, you would think by the time you got to conference play that you would be like, okay, this is our starters, this is our number 2s, and so I think that's kind of part of the problem. I mean, we still, I think, have the ability to kind of solidify it. But, defense, I feel, is kind of, we know what that is. Offense is still, we're going to have to see what that is before we get into some more difficult challenges.
Well, it's a good problem to have, because we've had some impactful injuries the last couple seasons where a starter went down for a couple games or for a season. And so to have that depth on offense, I think, is a luxury we haven't had the last few years.
Not only have the depth that's got experience.
Right.
Because they're getting to play.
Yeah, we got a defense that could be rivaling the 13 defense.
It's pretty good.
Could be.
It's really good. And we talk to Hargis every week.
I think last year's defense had better stats than
this year.
Last year too.
This year.
No.
This year
these guys.
Nice start.
And Hargis does such a good job, because, like I said, we talk to him at tailgate every week, and we kind of say, "What's the plan?" And
he's a master planner.
He's like, he told us, he goes, Rock Hill's offensive line is worse than Cedar Hill's, and we were like, "Oh, that doesn't bode well." And it's true, because I did
5-6 tackle.
Their first 7 possessions last night, they had 5 punts. They turned the ball over on downs one time, and they had a turnover. So that's 7 chances for your team to score, where the other team, they didn't get a first down. On their first 7 possessions. And I think what they ended up, I got the stats here. They ended up with 4 for the whole night, and
164 total offense.
and
half of that was in the fourth quarter. Half of that was one run, practically.
Keeping 80 yards. So the defense is certainly giving the offense the opportunities to do what they need to do to get to where, Wig and those guys have an opportunity to figure out, okay, what do exactly we want to do. Not that the offense has performed poorly, because they have not. By any means. Going into last night's game, Dowd was throwing at an 89% completion rate.
Overall.
It's ridiculous. I don't care what level you're playing at. He's 30 of 35. They've had no interceptions through 3 games. Couple fumbles. Well, I got on the handbrake last night about letting that guy pull that ball away from him. He goes, I thought it was my own guy. Dude.
Wait.
I guess in that big crowd, you don't know what's going on.
Jeremy stood there in the pocket when that defensive player was coming right at him. And it still had poise and whatever to pass the ball off. And it never leveled him like I thought it would.
Oh, my gosh. Anybody was... I don't know if... Because we saw it happen, and he threw the ball, and then he tapped the kid on the head. Like, good play.
Good try.
Good try.
I guess that player didn't like that too much, because he said some choice words back at him.
He told us what he said. We're like, wow. So, fun times. But anyhow, the offense is playing well. Defense is playing great. And you're really not looking like Coach seemed to think Plano was going to be more of a challenge. But
special teams, too.
everything is rolling right now for this team.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty dang complete.
And so you blow out Cedar Hill. It's 38-0. The game gets called at halftime due to another storm that comes blowing in. David loses a tent.
Oh, that's the second one, isn't it? Second time.
Yeah.
Second since 13.
Mesquite.
Yeah. So that game's over. You roll into Rock Hill last night. You had 19 first downs to 4 for them. You have almost 400 yards of offense. You have 2 punt returns for touchdowns. You have a defensive touchdown on a fumble. Mm-hmm. That play was crazy. I don't know if you got
that was crazy.
Oh, yeah.
He went off his knee into the arms of our player and took off for a touchdown.
Flying out the other way.
Yeah.
That ball never touched the ground.
No, I don't think so.
It was like a pinball.
Yeah.
It's like snap hit the quarterback.
And he had no one. He was coming in. That ball just ended in his lap right there, and he just never stopped.
Around the right side, gone. Yeah.
It was unbelievable. You had a 49-7 halftime lead. So for all intents and purposes,
it could have been better.
Game over at halftime, and it's just like, what are these guys doing? The good thing is you saw a lot of people play. Nobody's getting hurt.
I think 14 got on the field last night.
I don't know if there was a player that didn't get on the field. So it's really cool that many people are getting an opportunity to play. So again, you're getting a lot of time for your backup quarterback, and your backup players are getting a lot of playing time early, which is good. So we're sitting here after week 3 at 3-0, feeling pretty good about everything.
Right.
Looking forward, you have Plano, then you have McKinney.
McKinney back at home. Plano away down at Allen South. Yeah, McKinney back at home.
McKinney back at home.
Yeah.
And then you have an interesting game based upon what's been going on so far.
Princeton.
Yeah.
And
The fact that we have to play there.
Well, but they've been showing a little bit of
they're 3-0.
What do you want to call it, chutzpah or whatever?
They've scored a lot of points. Last night was a very interesting game as we talk around the district. First of all, Thursday night Plano beat McKinney 17-12. Okay.
Barn burner.
It was tough to watch, but that game's over with. Plano West goes to 3-0 on the year.
Wow.
They beat Boyd 34-18.
That to me is just mind-boggling.
And then you have the Princeton Plano East game. So Princeton goes up 28-0 at halftime, and I'm sure Professor Diggs is. In fact, Cody, what did Professor Diggs say right at halftime? This is a classic quote.
Grabbing it right now. He
PD,
said,
our new friend PD.
So this is after the game. This is him looking back. He said, when the second half was about to get started, I was hoping for Jesus to go ahead and call it a civilization, but that didn't happen.
He was ready for Jesus to come.
Oh, my goodness.
So 28-0. Plano East returns the opening kickoff of the second half for a touchdown.
We're back.
They proceed to tie the game at 42.
Oh, my gosh.
Go into overtime. Go into double overtime, and Princeton wins 57-55. But
That's just,
you're down.
Kind of like that Skyline game we played over there in
Yeah, kind of, but
SMU.
But kudos to Plano East for finding something, obviously, because they have not
They
played
dug
well.
deep. They had to. Yeah.
They still have not won a game, but to be down 28-0 at halftime and at least get it to, they never led. But they did tie the game, and they got it in the double overtime. So, but Princeton's a team that I don't worry about too much, but it's an interesting team as far as perspective of they're scoring a lot of points. They're still undefeated, and when you look at the district, that would be one of the teams that you say, kind of a surprise for being the smallest school in the district. They're only their second year in 6A, and they seem to have found something up there, at least offensively, to help them compete with it.
We may have to beat them to remain Plano City champions. We'll see how they do.
They might beat all the other Plano teams, too.
Yeah, they might. They got one out of the way. So those are your next 3 games coming up in the next 3 weeks. Next 3 weeks. When's our off week?
3 weeks. 10-4.
10-4.
October 4th.
So we do have an off week in there.
Yes.
So 3 out of the 4.
Yeah, just before the important game. Yeah. Prosper.
So that'll be interesting to see. So that's your future for the Eagles. So now we're going to switch gears because I want to talk
Okay.
the important stuff.
All right.
Football's So we need to get your background here.
Okay.
So let's. Born where?
Born in Austin.
Oh,
Okay.
very nice.
Yeah.
Texas
Where'd you
kid.
grow up?
Grew up outside of Trenton. In between Trenton and Randolph. You need some more small towns?
Like
Yeah.
I said, I know where Trenton is.
Yeah.
So what high school did you graduate from?
Well, actually, I was homeschooled, believe it or not.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah, and which one of the things that I hated about that was the fact that I didn't get to play football because I love football. I mean, I played it, like you do as with a bunch
We all
of
did, yeah.
yeah,
In
but
front of the yard. We called
not
it a different game back
organized team football. And but the closest team was the Leonard Tigers.
Okay.
And of course the Trenton were also the Tigers, but neither one of those. I think that was maybe 2A or 3A. That's 2A back then. And Leonard was 2,000 people. Trenton was 2,000 people. So not a huge legacy of football. Although Whitewright was always real strong. Believe it or not, they have a great legacy of high school football. But anyhow, yeah, I grew up out there in the sticks, and I was just to me, being able to go to town was great because it was 5 miles to a town, and but I did get to have the advantage of growing up on some land and being able to run outside and do whatever I wanted anytime. But I love living in the city now because this is what I always talk about, which is if I go to the store and forget ketchup, I just turn around and go right back over to Kroger's and get some more ketchup. When you grow up outside of Trenton, if you go on your weekly shop,
forget anything.
if you forget ketchup, well, that's a
It's gonna
week
be
without
next week.
ketchup.
There you go.
So I love it now. I'm even at 52 years old. I'm still amazed that I can just go over to the Home Depot and get random little part or go over here and so happy to live and work in the great Allen.
Yeah.
And I've heard those homeschool principals are tough, though.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. Well, I actually went to Leonard ISD till 3rd grade. And I must have made such an impression on them that they said, we've got to get him out of here. So,
Principal had a conversation with his parents.
Y'all thought about homeschooling? It's the first time that a public education system has advocated.
Consider.
Yeah. So, but no, I was, shortly after, went to Collin College Fire Academy.
Yep.
Called Quad C at the time, back in '93.
Yep.
I was class number 3 in their fire academy. They had just started this program.
He's not going to say this, but I'm going to read this. Boyd graduated from the Fire Academy at Collin College in 1993 as valedictorian.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Valedictorian.
Amongst firefighters. Let's set the bar where this isn't a bunch of brain surgeons or rocket scientists here.
And also, just because I want everybody in the room to understand here, following his early training as a firefighter and paramedic, he graduated summa cum laude with a Bachelor of Science in Public Affairs from UTD.
Heck yeah.
You're the smartest guy in the room. What are you doing hanging with us, knuckleheads?
Well, this is who I get along with. I like to go, I like to come down to the level I'm comfortable with.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Wow. Let's go.
We always knew it. We've never heard it out loud.
So, obviously, the man has a lot of gray matter up there working, so congratulations on that.
Well, yeah.
I want
I got
everybody
gray
to know that.
matter,
I think
but
that's
I
really
don't
cool
know.
to know. So,
Yeah.
Fire Academy, when that was 93.
Yes.
Okay, so graduate from there. Where do you go?
So I went to paramedic school.
Okay.
So medicine is a big part of what we do.
Right.
Even though we call ourselves firefighters, 75% of the calls we make are medical related. So I went to paramedic school, and then did a stint with Bell Savoy Ambulance and Whitewright EMS, which were I'm telling you, if you want to cut your teeth on medicine, go out to rural medicine because out there,
You're it.
you're it, and people don't call and for an ambulance until it is very serious.
Right.
And so
The bone has broken the skin. Yep.
Yeah, I've got a lot of experience from those days out there, which was great to roll into Allen. I was fortunate to get hired here. I was only 19 years old when I started trying to get a job as a firefighter, and so took a few years, as you can imagine, a homeschool kid, trying to convince people to hire me, but fortunately, in '96, got hired in Allen.
Okay. And so you started out as a
Firefighter.
EMS or firefighter?
Yeah, so a firefighter paramedic at the time. There was still, so there's different levels of medicine you can provide in EMS. There's paramedics and there's EMTs.
Okay.
So EMTs, they can bandage and do oxygen, the basic stuff. Paramedic basically does everything a doctor does. We're starting IVs and doing surgical, whatever it takes to save your life. And so I came here as a paramedic, and I was immediately blown away with the fact that I could show up on a call and now there's 5 paramedics as opposed to me and an EMT, which is what I was used to for rural EMS. And so, since then we've kind of built that legacy of having strong medicine, strong emergency response, firefighting, and we've had to do that as the community has grown, because when I came here in '96, it was 2 stations. Right. There was a total of 25 people that were part of the Allen Fire Department now, and 25,000 people. So now we're over 115,000, 6 stations, 120 firefighter paramedics. And so we've had to grow that legacy as we've grown over the last 29 years.
96. So it was the main station over on the east side, and then the one at Comanche and Alma.
No, that one even. So that one wasn't built until '99. So
Okay,
it was the
99.
it was the old station off of Allen Drive.
Yep.
And then there was Station 2, with the old Station 2. Now that was at Exchange in Allen Heights.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So the first station there was built in the '70s over there in downtown Allen.
Yep.
And then they added the Station 2 over on the east side of Allen in '81. And mainly because the railroad tracks ran through, and back then the train, when it was in town, you couldn't get from one. So they needed a fire station on both sides. So I was actually hired for Station 3, which is Bethany and Allen Heights, and that station was opened in '96, and I was part of the crew that was hired for that.
That's it. I live right down the street from that station. In fact, Cody.
So do I.
Yeah.
I call it the Lower East Side.
Yeah.
This
is the Far East.
Yeah.
The Lower East Side.
Yeah, I live right across the street, across Heritage from that fire station. In fact, I did many, many years in that station.
Yeah.
We hope those railroad tracks never get used again.
No.
Probably won't. Okay, so what's your progression within the department? So you get hired in '96. Mm-hmm. How does it go from there?
Yeah, so I've worked pretty much every rank in the operational side of things. The fire department has prevention and operations. So prevention is the fire marshal, fire investigations, code enforcement, and then operations is the lights and sirens part of it. So
I like that, lights and sirens.
Yeah. So I worked, as a firefighter paramedic on both that fire engine, trucks, ambulance, and then I became a driver. A driver is essentially like the assistant captain. The title is driver. You're responsible for driving the fire apparatus and pumping, but also when the captain's off, you become the captain for that day. And so I was a driver and then a captain. Then I became the division chief over training, and then the assistant chief over operations, and then in 2018 became the city's 3rd fire chief, which I've been doing ever since. So
okay, so here we go, because this is where it gets interesting. What do you do day to day now? I mean, what keeps you busy?
I do exactly what I told myself I would never do.
Don't we all?
Yeah. Which is, I said, I want to be a firefighter because I don't want a job where I sit at a desk. Yes.
Yeah.
And so now I sit behind the desk. But I do get out and about a lot.
Do you still go to calls? So?
Well, hopefully not.
Right. Serious, yeah.
This would be like Coach Wigginton having you go out and play. Right? Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I mean, if I've done my job, there is much better players on the field than me.
Right.
And we do have much better players. I mean, we have an incredible team. In fact, all of the leadership team that I get to work with, we've been working together for 20 plus years.
Oh, good.
Which is very unusual in the fire service, because usually you have people kind of move around different fire departments once they get into upper leadership.
Right.
The fact that we were all able to start together and kind of progress through the department and the community together, it's really, I call it the dream team because it is. I mean, it's really people that I trust because I've worked with them. I've been on serious calls with them. So I don't go on a lot of calls just because, like I said, there's better players on the field. But there are some that are kind of at the community and state level, national level, that you do need to have leadership there. And so it's usually only, I think as chief, I've been on maybe 3 calls in 7 years. And so those are really, really big incidents. But I do get out in the community a lot and do things, with the different service clubs. Coach Wigington has the great Men of Influence.
Which is how we met.
Yep, this is how I met you guys. Yeah. And so getting to be involved in trying to, our community, one of the things I really value about Allen is this sense of community. And, what that is that when our community has a challenge, I think we do a great job of rallying to be there for each other. And so being able to get out and build those relationships, because one of the things I say a lot is during an emergency is not when you need to be introducing yourself. You need to know that you can pick up the phone, your contact is already in their phone. You can ask for the things you need, and there's that trust has already been built. So that's really the fun part about my job is getting to be a part of things like Coach Wigington's Men of Influence and the different service clubs and the school district and just all the different aspects of our community, because there are a lot of things going on all the time. And having now a family that lives in Allen and having the kids come through the school district and be a part of the community, it's really something special to get to do. So yes, I tell myself I'm doing the things that I never wanted to do. I wanted the excitement, the response, and all that. But what I do now is very fulfilling and very rewarding because I get to be really connected to the community.
So, go ahead. I'm sorry. We watched firsthand some of your team work last night right in front of us. There was an incident in the stands with a lady in front of us, and I mean the way the monitors and everything that they put together. I mean there was probably 8 or so up there,
right?
Between paramedics and police officers and stuff, and it was amazing.
Yeah, that we have a big presence at the game because we know that is the keystone events every year are at our stadium. And, whether it's the graduation or the home football games. And so we want to make sure, that's our goal, right, is to keep our community safe. So we have not only paramedics that we have there, but we also have some great volunteers with our community emergency response team. They're wearing the yellow vests.
Yes, right. There are 4 of those out there, too.
And those are just regular community members that are volunteering their time to come out. And they've done really incredible things with technology, and they've essentially created a totally redundant communication system. If for whatever reason our systems go down, they have their own kind of resource management. I mean, they're really doing incredible things. In fact, we call them the CERT team, is probably one of the strongest in the state. And that's, I talk about like those are the things you need to build before you have an emergency. And so we're fortunate that they come out and help at that. But yeah, the teams we have at those games are very qualified. And, with tens of thousands of people coming to a home game every year, it's really important that we're able to provide medicine really quickly, because we do have typically every game 3 or 4 responses, depending on how hot it is. Last night was a little warm, so you had some people that were kind of getting a little too warm, but it's very common to have responses during the game.
So how many staff do you have at a single game?
So we have 6 there. 6, for a single game, and believe it or not, it's very rarely the players on the field, right? Because they have their training staff, and I think in the past 29 years, I think there's been about twice that we've actually taken somebody off the field, and the majority of it is our community or visitors that are in the stands that have some sort of a medical emergency, and that's what we're there for. It's not just the players, but the people visiting too.
The player back on in the old double wide
broke his leg.
On the field. That was quite a.
I remember one of. Maybe it wasn't our stadium.
So when you look at the city of Allen now, and again, these are all questions. Again, we're so far removed from what you do for a living. It's when you look at your call log for a year, what's the majority of incidents that when you look at category that falls in happens in Allen these days?
Yeah, so there's
not that many fire.
It seems like structure fires have been reduced since the 70s and 80s, whatever, and that's maybe that's a good thing.
No, yeah, that's a national trend. I mean, because better building construction, more fire prevention. You know, in the 70s, there was the U.S. Fire Administration, national, came out with a report called America Burning, and in it was about 20 different recommendations to reduce fires, and they've done a great job of working with UL laboratories and the National Fire Protection Agencies to kind of just improve everything around us to keep it from burning, because I guess prior to the 70s we weren't real great at it, and so now there is.
The 70s was a haze.
Yeah. So yeah, there has been a reduction. So we make in Allen about 10,000 emergency responses a year. So yeah, it's actually, you know, every day there's something going on. In fact, on the way here, I had to pull over because here comes the fire trucks and ambulance from Station 3. But around 7,000 of those are medical calls.
Yeah.
You're right that the structure fires themselves, you know, we have several calls for fires, but that can be anything from I smell smoke,
grease fire in the kitchen.
Yeah. But so there's about 34, 35 what we call working fires, meaning we're pulling a hose, we're actually going in the house, and but the difficult thing about that is, you know, we've done a really good job in America and locally of reducing the amount of fires we have, but the materials we're building with are actually more dangerous than they were in the 70s because they're a lot of plastic, a lot of synthetic materials, and so the temperatures of these fires get really high.
Wow.
And so so for occupants and for firefighters, it can go from, hey, it's a small fire, to now, you know, the room's full involved very quickly. And so we have to do a lot of training so that these 35 fires that we have every year, we're able to rescue people quickly, and we also don't get ourselves in a bad way. And so we actually spend quite a bit of time training on these, because even though they're less of an occurrence, we have to be very, very good at it. And so it is kind of a unique challenge to be really, really good at medicine, which is what we do most of the time. And our paramedics are really great. I mean, they're able to, if you're having a heart attack, be able to tell if it's a left side of your heart ischemia versus right side, because they're doing a 15 lead EKG. And so they're doing things like activating the cath lab back at the hospital, and really just doing amazing stuff with medicine, with trauma, because, you know, we have this, you know, we'll stop the bleed program, and then also be really good at firefighting. And that's why the job has become very different than it was back in 96 when I started, because that was really the beginning of it. But you asked the question about, well, what do we see a lot of? We see a lot of medical calls, and some of that, you know, is due to just people's health.
Right.
But a lot of it also, we do see it in our area, a lot of trauma, because we have young people, young families, they're out doing stuff. And a large part of that recently has been an increase in injury crashes, so traffic accidents. And so that's why we started last year a program called Drive to Thrive, which was to try to encourage people just to slow down and make better decisions.
Stop at stoplights.
Yeah, stop at stoplights.
What concept?
Yeah,
pay attention, not the phone, the road.
Yeah, we have a great public education coordinator, and her name is Jill Hernandez, but she put together a great program, and the goal was to reduce injury crashes by 10%, and we were actually able to reduce those by 11%, which doesn't sound like a ton, but that comes out to, 60, 70 less injury crashes per year in our community. So we're still working on that. We're working next year on a program to reduce falls for our senior population. And like myself, every year I get 1 year older. And so as our community ages, individuals over 60 years old call an ambulance 4 times more than people less than 60. So we're trying our best to kind of plan for the future and be ready for what that's going to look like. So
speaking of the future,
yes,
this town is changing big time.
Yes,
with what's going in at just off 121. Not so much with the farm, but you've got these office buildings that are going in at Custer. You've got Jerry Jones's project at 121 and 75 that is going to be high-rise office buildings and so forth.
It's actually Billingsley, but that's okay.
Okay, Billingsley. I'm sorry. I thought, but Jerry. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But to back to my point, what do you see, or what is the plans, or what are you having to plan for the future growth that's taking place, and not necessarily from a homestead standpoint, but from a commercial standpoint with these high-rise buildings, which is something that Allen really hasn't had, any. And I'm seeing more ladder trucks, within the department and so forth. What are some of the other things that you foresee changes, obviously for the better, within the fire department?
Yeah, a great question, because that is a challenge.
I got a great question.
Yeah.
I wish Lee would
Let's
tell
mark
us that.
this down.
Yeah.
Put that in the book.
Yeah.
10:06.
Well, it is a challenge, right? And that's one of the toughest things about this job is being the oracle that can predict the future, because it's not only
That was a Matrix reference.
Yeah. That it's not only planning for what we're going to have as far as the buildings we have, but also the changing types of calls and challenges. I mean, who knew that? I mean, I never thought when I started my career that I would have to be an expert at active shooter incidents, and that it would ever occur in our community. Yep. And so it's both of those things that you're really trying to kind of see, well, what are the challenges coming up ahead? The buildings themselves that is largely the way we deal with that is mainly through our fire prevention efforts. So by determining how those buildings are built, ensuring that we have great plan review, ensuring that the developers are investing in really safe buildings. And so the way high-rise buildings are built safe is expensive. And unfortunately, when you're a developer, right, sometimes it's tough to do that because it gets very expensive. But we've done a great job, and if you've seen Allen as a community maybe not develop as fast as some other communities, a large part of that is because we want to ensure that the buildings that are built here are of the highest quality. So we do a lot of work on that, but we also do a lot of work of ensuring that we have the response capacity. And if you look, you talked about seeing more and more ladder trucks in town. We already have the tallest and most capable ladder trucks that you need for high-rise. Because once you get above 5 stories, you're not really using your ladder truck to make rescues, because there's no ladder trucks out there that really reach past 5 stories. At that point, what you're working on is techniques to be able to fight fires from within the stairwells. So stairwells in high-rises are what we call protected stairwells. They have fire barriers. They have positive pressure ventilation in them to keep the smoke out. There's waterways and airways within those stairwells, so that we can essentially use those as our ladder truck. So next time you're in a high-rise and you see the kind of the red pipe that
notice all those risers and pipes going through.
That's our water supply to those floors, and those are designed for us to get up in those stairwells and fight fire from within those. The main thing is ensuring, that's the tough part, because that's a long ways up there sometimes, and if they're on fire, we're not using the elevators. Yep. And so you're hoofing all your hoses, your air bottles, everything up to those levels, and so physical fitness is kind of really a big part of that. Allen's unique in that the same test that we require of our candidates, we take that same physical test for the rest of your career. And trust me, when you get to 52, it's not as easy when it was as it is when you were 23. But we want to make sure.
I just don't see that.
We want to make sure that anyone in the fire department is going to be capable to fight those high-rise fires, because they are very physically taxing. But the other part is that it takes a lot of units. So in our community, we have 6 what I call big red things, fire engines or fire trucks that can respond. So the most firefighters we can put on an incident from Allen Resources is about 33. But we know it's going to take probably close to 100 or 120 to fight a high-rise fire. So we work a lot with all of our area communities. None of, and McKinney, and Allen, Frisco, Plano, none of us really we all have to work together if we get one of these incidents. So it's kind of a multi-tiered approach to it. We start with the construction. We make sure that we're doing inspections to ensure that the resources are there, sprinkler systems to put out these fires when they're small. We make sure we have enough people, and then we make sure we have the right mutual aid in working with the area communities to ensure we can respond to really anything. Yeah. So there's the answer. Sorry, that
was awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and tying all this stuff together, your department, all the departments around, and it really is affected in insurance premiums that you pay. It's the OSI rating. So can you tell us a little bit about that? Some of the stuff you're talking about absolutely figures into OSI, but some you guys are probably going above and beyond. And give us an idea as to how that fits in insurance rates, all that stuff.
Right. So, insurance rates do drive a lot of this.
Right.
Great question.
We care about fire departments. We really do.
Real estate developer, I'm about to cry.
Tissue.
Yeah. But it's a trade-off, though, right? Because you want your insurance rates to be low, but we also want our taxes to be low. Yep. And so that's the difficult part, because property taxes, the majority of what our community pays in property taxes does go to our public safety, police, and fire. And so to keep insurance rates low, we got to keep taxes where it can fund those things. And so there's a balance there. But you're right. OSI is the insurance rating, and all the cities kind of in this area have low OSI ratings, meaning they're really good at fire protection. But it's really more than that, right?
Oh yeah, training and just everything.
They look at how much training you've had. They look at how your dispatch system, how quick can you get units there. They look at your water supply. Allen has one of the best water supplies in the area. I mean, the pressure we get at the hydrant, which affects the pressure that we can put in the pump, which affects the pressure we have at the end of the hose line, it is really, really high. And so all of that plays into how much. But OSI is kind of what they've used for the last 20 years, but it's even going beyond that now. They're looking at, State Farm is no longer using OSI.
Okay.
They're using kind of their own system.
Of course.
Yeah. But all of them are really evaluating different, capabilities within the community, because the cost of insurance is through the roof, right? And not only for your homes, but you can imagine what it is for a commercial property. And we have some really, really expensive properties. Some of the data centers that we have in Allen, not only are the buildings themselves incredibly expensive,
in there,
but the data that lives in there is very, very valuable. And they have redundant systems upon redundant systems, not only for water. Each of those buildings have redundant water systems, electrical systems, all of this to protect the data, because the data itself is more valuable than the building inside. So it's incredibly complicated. You look at one of the developments that we have coming to town, Kalahari, which is a kind of a indoor water park. That's almost $1 billion development, and so to protect the guests that come to Allen, to protect the people using the water park, insurance drives a lot of these fire safety systems. But I think Allen actually goes somewhat beyond that. We adopt the latest National Fire Protection Agency codes to ensure that it's not only very safe for the building, the occupants, and the guests, but it's also the capabilities are there for kind of the worst case scenario. One of the things that is unique about high-rise buildings in Allen is, and we're because we're at the start of this development, we have actually, we wear these air packs so that we can breathe fresh air when we're in a fire. There's actually systems in the stairwell for us to refill the bottles at the stairwell.
Wow.
Yeah, and so we don't have to haul as many bottles up to that floor, because those things, they're heavy, and they only last 20 minutes. So you can imagine how quick we'll go through bottles. So we've implemented systems in these buildings to refill the bottles in there, and that is really expensive for the developers. But I think it kind of plays into this idea of the multi-tiered approach to keeping the community safe, and that we're really trying to stop stuff from happening. But if it does, all the capabilities are there for us to be able to respond very effectively.
Yeah, and as a developer, I want to touch on that. It is expensive, but it does two things. One, it does actually help your insurance costs, because when the insurance company looks and says, hey, they've got this air refill system in the building, plus tenants appreciate it.
Right.
Because then they know, hey, this is a really safe building. If this happens...
And they end up spending a little more per square foot.
Yeah, you can drive your rent a little bit with it. But it all goes together. And insurance costs, it is what it is, and the problem, and again, we could go down a whole rabbit hole with insurance costs. A hurricane in Florida should not affect your insurance rate in Texas,
but it does.
Yeah, and it affects all of us. Not just your homeowners, but commercial as well. But so we're going to tear off that for a minute. You have a daughter who's a Talonette.
That's right.
Yay. So first year Talonette.
That's right. She was a Silver Star last year.
Okay.
She's been in dance forever. Yep. You can look at my bank account and know that. And
we'd love to.
There's nothing in it, so don't worry. But it's been great. I mean, she's an incredible dancer, and my son was on the field last year too. He everyone knows Allen for football, right. But the reality is that all of their programs are really great. My son was part of their film, video, broadcast stuff. And they have Kyle Junton is the teacher of that. He does an incredible job. And so my son was on the field as part of the Jumbotron and the replays and all of that. So he got to do that, and it was great to see him on the field. And then my daughter was a Silver Star last year, which is the first year of kind of the drill team, right. And then a Talonette this year. In fact, she's on I don't want to brag, but she's on the Talonette Elite team, which is great. And so it's been really, really fun to kind of see all that. And we're looking forward to the Tournament of Roses parade this year, and seeing them out in California marching and that. So it's really been great to have that. I've been going to football games long before even when my kids were in elementary school. Because I knew that this point would come, so I've been upgrading my season tickets every year, so that I could be where I could see her. I've got great tickets now, but so it's been fun to really not only be involved in all the football, but be able to see kind of the wide variety of incredible programs the school district has.
Yeah, I've got to say this because I told her I was going to. Robin Bullock's scared of you. After last year's little episode, I said, well, what are you going to do this year? She goes, oh, they're all over the place. So she they push the limits with those pep rallies a little bit.
Oh, no, it's great. I was at the pep rally on Friday, and they always do such an incredible job with that. And I know Alan catches a little flack for the over-the-top pep rally, but we should have over top pep rally. This is Allen. I mean, this is kind of the level we do things. Allen is made of winners, and if our pep rally is a competition, it's going to be the winner. I mean,
jealousy.
Yeah,
and if we want pyrotechnics, my gosh, we're going to have pyrotechnics.
Yeah, I mean, it's too.
And our fire chief's there, and he's not saying anything.
He's making sure it's safe.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to make sure it's an incredible event. Robin's great. She's, we've especially when we worked with her through the pandemic and all the challenges with that, and that was the perfect example of what I talked about, where you shouldn't be introducing yourself in a crisis, because we already knew each other, had that trust, we knew we were doing it for the right reasons and cared about the community, and when you're starting at that, it's really easy to work together, and she's just really been incredible, because we the school district's a huge part of this community, and the city's a huge part of it, and to be able, in our public safety involves all of it. And so to have that type of relationship with leaders in the community, I think is really unique and really unusual. And we've been able to do some really incredible things together.
Yeah, it's I just had to throw that out there because we talked about it with her quite a bit.
We always have to get that little jab.
Yeah.
No, Robin's great, and
she's been very good.
All of them,
she's been very good.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
Okay, daughter who's a talonette. When are we going to see you out there dancing with her?
Exactly.
Next year.
Okay, I hope.
Is she a sophomore? Or is she a junior?
No, yeah, I'm dancing.
This year?
Yeah, at the McKinney game.
No.
Yeah.
We'll get
Yeah, right.
You're going to be a star.
Be on the podcast.
You are going to be a star.
We got fodder for next year.
Hey, I'm not worried about it at all because I know that my daughter got all her talent from me.
It's getting deep in here.
Dancing with the Stars.
No, it's a joke. I'm actually having to learn how to dance because I've never done it. My wife was a dancer for many years. She was on the drill team for Bergner. Rangerette? No.
Ramettes.
Yeah. I'm going to get in trouble for not knowing. But
I'm going to get in trouble. But I went to Richardson, so I can at least have permission.
The insult is expected.
Yeah, so I'm having to learn. But here's the thing. I'm gonna go full out because I'm not gonna go out there and be one of these dads that's kind of half dancing. No,
not put your heart into it.
That's right. That's right. Everyone else on the field is putting the time in to be excellent, and I'm gonna do the same thing. So I'm glad y'all know about it because you are gonna be impressed. You're gonna be sitting there.
Oh, I'm on the 50.
Yeah, you're gonna be hoping you can take some notes about how to make fun of me, and you're. The only thing you're going to write down is wow.
You heard it here first. All right. Well,
I'm going to do some little AI and put a little tutu on him. Ballerina.
It won't matter. It will be impressive.
That's it. I love it. That's it. I'm getting field passes. I'm going to be right out there. We're going to get it on film.
Yeah. Do it. I'm ready.
He's ready. That'd be awesome.
And he comes off the field. We're going to have a big old cape. We're going to put in.
That's right.
He's going to be, throw the cape up. I'm back. James Brown.
Hey, congratulations to you for embracing that, though, because it's. I don't know if I could have done it. That'd be tough.
No.
I want memories. You're building.
That's great.
Amazing.
Memories. Yeah, it is. It is really rewarding thing to get to be a part of, and it's fun.
I can tell you when you go to the Rose Parade, as a parent who had a child that marched in it 10 years ago, it'll be emotional to me.
Oh wow! Okay, don't.
It's a big deal. No, it's a big deal.
And I remember because at that time I was the president of the Booster Association for the band, and we did a lot of work. To get those kids out there.
They made some really nice T-shirts too.
And then when you see them coming down, and they're coming because there's a lot of.
I know.
Oh, yeah. It's just like
they spread out really nice.
It's like wow, it is an emotional moment, and it's just like wow.
It's cool to see on TV.
Yeah. But in person,
yeah,
it's
great. I mean, and they're so good. I mean, last night their performance when they started off with those horns. I mean, the hairs on my arm. It was just so.
My hair moved, When
I mean, I was just like, wow, this is so impressive. They're so great at what they do, and
well, you will have a good time if I'm sure you're going to go the whole week. With them, get all their performances and everything. It's a lot of fun, and what's fun about it is to watch everybody else. Reaction to the album band because it is one of a kind, and it's just neat. Like going to the Sphere, and I took these guys, I made them go, and then I had a lot of enjoyment watching their reaction to something really cool. So,
for sure,
Nolan was like,
"Wow,
it'll be really fun, and it'll be a memory that won't go away."
Oh,
and they do band fest at one of the junior colleges there, and that's always a lot of fun.
They did a parade through Disney World.
Doing that again.
Yeah, that was cool. And pray for no rain, because the time that my kids were in, it was a downpour.
So,
but you'll have a lot of fun.
Good. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you coming out, and I'm just going to say this now: anytime you want to come back and sit in, because you obviously watch the games, obviously pay attention, and you want to come on and ask.
And we need the help.
Yeah.
And boost our ratings.
If you want,
we might add a listener or two.
Yeah. Well, I know all those guys at the Firehouse are going to listen this week. So. We're
going to have some big numbers.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy to be here. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Anytime.
Well, that's been awesome.
Yeah, this is great. And we learned a lot. And that's, you're never too old to learn.
That's what it's all about.
And, we appreciate all you've done for Allen, the community, and that you're going to continue to do. And so we do thank you for coming out. So
and before the McKinney game and before you're dancing, if any of the fire stations have some video that they want to shoot, just get in touch with us. We'll do some video, and you guys can take jabs at the fire chief, and if not, or support him. But we're going to have a nice feature, I think, as far as video goes on your
please
dancing.
Do a follow-up
that'll be a lot of fun.
I think you'll be very impressed.
All right, he's calling his shot.
I'm so looking forward to the McKinney game now.
Yeah, I mean, we have to have reasons to look forward to this. Yeah,
I'm laughing.
Yeah, but don't beat the table because it makes Mike. So.
Yeah, I know.
Anyhow,
that's why I'm doing it.
Anybody got anything else before we bust out of here?
Nope.
College football?
It's been a fun one.
Let's go.
It's good. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for coming.
We appreciate it. So, folks, until next week, we'll see you at Plano Friday night, 7 o'clock, and it's over, and we are out.
Jack McDonald on the snap. Jackson Logan with the hold.